Sunday.
Sunday fun day.
Last day of June. Can you believe that?
Oh, man, this year's flying.
It's going really fast.
Make it stop.
No, it has to keep going. We got to keep going, keep grinding, keep on it because, you know, that's what we got to do. We got to keep going.
True. Yeah,
but yeah.
I'm excited with a lot of the stuff that's happening. You know, we have a lot of big plans coming up in this coming year. For instance, the first thing that we would like to mention is that we are in the top 5 for the group finals for the Global Citizens America's top hit music maker.
This is why I'm the one that talks the most here.
Yes.
He's the techie guy, but you know, I feel really excited because you guys, out of thousands and thousands of entries and people and bands and musicians, and the fact that, you know, I mean, as a fellow native New Yorker, I'm pretty proud, and I want to get to that stage in Central Park. Alice Cooper's going to be there, and if we win, guys, we get a spot on Rolling Stone magazine. Is that a fucking trip? If that was
crazy,
right? If we get there, we can only do it with your votes.
Yes.
And we got to thank everyone. We see you guys voting.
Yeah, everyone.
A lot of you guys don't know, but we
can see you.
We see you on the leaderboard. You know, we sign in and we can see. So
yeah.
I see who's voting, who's donating.
Shout out to all of you that supported us thus far, got us this far into the rounds. So don't forget, you get one free vote every 24 hours if you have a valid Facebook account, or you can donate $1. It goes straight to an amazing cause to feed world hunger, or to fight against world hunger and equity around the world. And there's days that it does double the voting. So if you want to just vote on those days, feel free to do that. But if you want to support regardless, you can do so as well. You don't need a Facebook to donate, but help us out and help out the cause along the way.
Yeah, so top 5. We got to get to top 2
Top
this
2.
week. Well, no, by 4th of July.
By 4th of July is the cutoff. If we don't make top 2 by that time frame, we're out of the race.
No fireworks for us.
No fireworks.
So let's get us there, guys. We can only do it with you guys, and we got to thank you tremendously.
So if you're watching on Twitch, it's command vote or command support. Let us know in chat on YouTube. If you guys need the link, we'll post it on the link on there. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, you got a minute wait for you to talk for a little bit. I'm trying to figure out a way to get that to be accessible right away. But on Twitch, it's followers. Hit that follower button to be in on the conversation. The last thing we'd like to mention is that we have a show coming up in July.
Yep, we do.
At Dingbats in Clifton, New Jersey. At
going back to your hometown.
Yeah, on the 17th. And we have a special guest bassist joining us. Amazing bass player. We can't wait to be on stage with him and show some footage of his playing ability. Jed. I can't say his last name. I gotta figure out how to say his last name.
He's played with a lot of awesome people. And also, this week, we did have another meetup with Matt Dice.
Yeah, we met up with Matt Dice. It was awesome. We got to talk to him for a little bit.
He's been touring around the world.
He's been really busy.
Yeah, really busy. So we were talking about all that stuff. And yeah, it's going to be really fun to talk to our next guest, which is a legend in his own right. Amazing YouTuber, guys. I'm like honored because every time we're looking for new gear, who do we go to?
I always load up Scott's YouTube. That's how I learned how to run a lot of the routing for my Behringer.
He's a brain. He's an amazing musician. He has multiple bands, projects. He's touring everywhere. I mean, I saw, if you're not following his Instagram, go check out his Instagram, all his gorgeous pictures, footage. And yeah, I can't wait to just bring him out here. So I think we should bring out the guest, the special Scott Ewell.
I'm ready.
Are you ready for me, Scott?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's do it. Scott Ewell here on YenYorkCity Live.
There he is.
Woo, let's go.
Look at this beautiful man.
Oh, my God.
With his gorgeous hair.
Appreciate it.
Everything. Look at the background. It's just everything.
I got the light even, yeah. So everything's
Ooh.
good.
Oh, my God. This is the man. This is the man, guys. If you guys are not following, what are you doing? So, Scott, we are so honored, and we want to thank you so tremendously from the bottom of our hearts, because to have you here is like tremendous for us. I mean, we really love watching how you just talk about gear, and the knowledge that we get from it is, I mean, it's just, I can't even thank you enough, because we have gotten a lot of things from your suggestions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm
We
glad to
have,
hear that. Yeah, thank you.
We got the was it the X Vive wireless in-ears,
Nice.
and then the Behringer. I had to do some deep dives on educating myself on how to route that with with the systems, and
we need your help.
it's
Yeah.
it's fun.
Our last
Yeah.
gig, I don't know if Luna told you,
Yeah.
but oh man, it's a big piece of machinery. I gotta say, to learn is very it looks complicated.
Yeah, and if you mess up like one thing, it's a nightmare. If you don't know what it is, yeah. I know what you're
Yes.
talking about.
So many settings.
Been there.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing with getting new gear. You have more room to mess up.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time you go on stage, you're like, all right, let's do this. And then you just got to pray that everything goes smoothly. But you know how gigs are, being a musician yourself. And you were just, I know you were in Prague, right? Gorgeous. Where
Yep,
were
yep.
you last? I know this week has been really crazy, right? You've been just touring everywhere.
Oh, I just got back last week. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was went to Croatia, Serbia, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, and Czech Republic. And then I gave myself a day in Vienna when the tour was over because that was an easy way to fly home. So yeah, I was like, oh, I'll spend a day in Vienna and then fly home. So it was a cool trip, man. It was really
Ah,
cool.
it must have been like gorgeous, beautiful, like amazing. Everything looks like a painting when you go to those places.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was your takeaway from it? Like the culture, and what was your favorite part about it?
I really liked Budapest a lot. Budapest was really cool. I love European cities that are like there's like a river, running through
Yeah.
the Danube River. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's really cool because they had that in Budapest and in Vienna, and it's just gorgeous. I love water. I love the ocean, and the big like European old buildings and stuff like that. It's just gorgeous.
Architecture is gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And Prague is probably the most beautiful city like in the world. It's one of them anyways. So yeah, it's amazing.
Did you go where all the houses are like different colors and it's
Mhm.
just, oh, that's like so amazing there. Yeah, and it does
Yep.
have everything there.
Oh, yeah, I
And the
love it.
food. What's your favorite dishes that you tried out there?
Oh man, I honestly don't know if I could. They had a lot of like really good like Italian food, even though we didn't go to Italy. The gnocchi or gnocchi, however you say
Gnocchi.
it.
Oh, I just got some.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make some tomorrow. Wow.
Yeah, it was
The gnocchi.
delicious. All the breakfast food that they had like was awesome. The coffee is really good out there too.
I can
Ah.
imagine the coffee's gonna be amazing.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
it's amazing, yeah.
Huge
It's
coffee
amazing.
lover. And the
Yeah.
breads, right? Like the breads are
Mhm.
actually really good. It's not like processed crap we have here in the States. Really, you have to make your own bread and know what's in it. In
Yeah.
Europe, I think because all the food that's, you can't have a lot of the things that are in the ingredients here. It's banned in a lot of those countries because they want their, society to be healthy and beautiful and not overweight and all that. So, yeah, you can
Very
have fun.
different.
Yeah, eating over there. You don't feel that guilty eating the food.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So, Scott, I know we have so much to dive into. I mean, you're a YouTuber, you're a producer, a musician, traveling everywhere. We got to move back and just like start from the very, very beginning. Because at first, what came first? I mean, obviously you are multi-talented, instrumental, right? And you sing, you do everything yourself too.
I think with Spiral Cell, I do everything. I'm mostly a guitar player. That's like my main instrument. But with Spiral Cell, there's a lot of live looping. So I build the tracks. So a little bit of keys, a little bit of like hand drums, not like real drums, but fake bass. So I pitch shift like the guitar and stuff like that. But guitar is my main instrument.
So when did you pick up the guitar?
It was junior year in high school. I had one of my best friends named Brian. He told me, he's like, "Hey man, I'm taking guitar class. You want to take it with me so I know someone in the class?" And that was it. I had no desire, to stop playing video games and programming. I used to program calculator games. Have you ever had the TI 83 calculators? That was
Yeah,
like what
those
I
long
did.
ones.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. So I had no desire to do guitar. But I was like, okay, cool, I'll join the class, and got obsessed completely. Like stopped playing video games and just played guitar, and and I haven't looked back. So it's funny that one conversation changed my life completely. Just like one question, like, hey, do you want to take this class with me? Sure. And that was it.
So when you jumped in, you were like, why not? I'm here. I'm just gonna hang out with my friend and just try to learn
Yeah.
something, and then And you didn't know that you would be that interested in the guitar at that time, so.
Nope. I mean, I liked music, obviously, you know, like any teenager, but wasn't like, oh, I got to learn how to play this song or anything like that. And then yeah, got obsessed with it. So
In high school, what were your 5 top favorite bands when you started learning how to play guitar?
Oh man, probably System of a Down, Green Day, Tool. Man, I got to think of how.
Yes, he's a Tool fan.
Oh yeah, big Tool fan, yeah, for
so
sure.
much.
I've seen him like 10 times for sure.
Oh man, so you saw them in their prime? Did you see them?
Not like I didn't get it. The first time I saw them was after 10,000 Days. So
Okay.
I didn't get to see them during Lateralis. That was like when they toured for Lateralis. That was right as I was getting into them. So yeah, so I didn't get to see that one. But that first show that I saw them was actually in Denver. We have it's a place usually where they do like performances for like Wicked and stuff like that, all sorts of theatrical places. They did a performance there. And that was my first Tool show. It was really wild. It was at the Buell Theater in Denver, if anyone's familiar with that. But it was a really cool show.
I can see the influence, I gotta say, in your music, your style, your theatrical lighting. Oh my God, when I saw that, I was like, man, this dude's really doing it different, and I'm really into it. The lighting, the mask, everything. It was just,
Thank you.
it's such a vibe. And so, what was the first song you learned how to play on the guitar when you learned?
I was wondering if you were going to ask me that. I was like, I don't remember the very first song. Well, I mean, I remember the song that my guitar teacher or the teacher in that class taught us was Blues Traveler Runaround, which because it's just 4 chords the entire song.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Anybody with a harmonica in the background?
No, yeah. I honestly didn't even know the song at all. He was just like, this is the first song that we're going to teach you because it's just G, C, A minor, and D the entire song. So he showed you how to do that, and I spent forever, like anyone who plays guitar knows, it's so hard to switch chords. Start.
You were lucky getting that song. When I did guitar lessons in my first lesson, I was thrown into Blackbird.
Really?
Yeah, wow. I'm like, how are you doing this?
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, that's not easy.
No, especially when you get to like the low end and you're trying to continue with the bass lines while hitting those other chords. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and the stretching that you have to do for some of that one's pretty wild. Yeah, that's not easy.
So did you and your friend start your first band, or when did you start your first band?
Yep, we started our first band. It was called Empathy. It was our name.
I like that.
That's what we did in high school. I only played a few shows, but practiced all the time. And our bass player's mom was really awesome and let us like practice at the house, and made us like lunch and stuff like that when we were practicing. So she was awesome. Shout out to Kelly if she's watching. But
so you're still buddies with him after all these years. Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah. So
it
was cool. It was a good learning experience for sure.
And with the band, did you play like a mixture of like covers and wrote your own stuff, or?
With the first band, no, this was all original stuff. We did a few covers, of course, like every band. It was mostly original stuff. And that was where I really got into writing. So I actually would write like the drum parts for our drummer and stuff like that, because I'm a guitar player first, but I've always been interested in, even since the beginning, very first band, I've been interested in a song more than just the guitar. Guitar is my main instrument, but I've always been interested in the song personally. And
did you at that time also was very deep into like the production of like your band and your work?
No, not at all, actually. Yeah. So I was at that point I was just like a writer, writing and playing guitar. That was kind of my obsession for sure. It wasn't until way later that I really got into production. So
on an average time, right, when you go and set up your stuff, how long does it take you to set up Spiracell's full rig?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it takes a while. So the first album I did multiple shows on for a while. I released the latest album, Prismize, recently, or like last year. I'm programming it right now. I have like a desk set up over here, trying to program it. Running into issues, I'm trying to make it easier on me than the last one, because the last one, especially doing like full production, if I did lighting and video, it took so long, especially those shows where you have like 15 minutes to change over.
Yeah.
There's no way I'd be able to do that with this. So I'm trying to have a smaller footprint, so that I have just like 2 main lights, and then kind of like a rack. I did a video on like my rack that I'm trying to make it just super small and compact so that I can do it in like 15 minutes. But it usually takes probably about at least 20 minutes to set up when I've done it before. So
yeah, that's my goal, is to try to figure out the quickest way of getting things up and running in the most efficient way and not have any issues.
yeah, exactly. Yep. And then when we do covers, we've got that down pretty well. Like with 90% 90s, we can get like loaded in, sound checked, everything connected like super fast now. So especially if we're doing even like festival style, if we're like the only band, we have more time to set up and sound check. But if we have to do that festival style sound check, we can get it done in 15 minutes, full band and everything. We got a lot of stuff that's wireless, so that's really helpful too.
Yeah. Do you guys like do practice runs of like setup and takedowns and try to time it and see like how
no,
efficient
not really,
it is?
But
he does. He's like, we got to do it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Time.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, we don't really do that. We know like what to get set up like off stage, and then put it up on stage really quick, and how to connect everything. Scan like for wireless if we can get power like backstage or whatever. So.
And everyone helps each other with their stuff.
Well, most of us are pretty efficient at just grabbing our own stuff. We have with 90% 90s, we have our stage manager, Larissa, who's a godsend and helps us, get things off the stage, get on the stage, and throughout the show if something goes wrong. So yeah.
That's always helpful.
Yeah, because it's just us two. And it's very like with the drums, if he brings in all his stuff, it's so bad because it's only us, and we have like 15 minutes. And everybody's like, wow, that's a lot of cymbals. I'm like, this isn't even the whole kit.
Yeah.
Because, being a progressive drummer, he goes and, what did he bring? Octobons last time?
Yeah. Well, this time around, I'm bringing the octobons because our new song has octobons in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to replicate this. I can't not have octobons.
I know, yep. And that's how I end up bringing more and more gear. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I know that.
More time. So and then what I do is I try to set it up where I have the stands, and then I try to like mark off where the levels should be, and then when I get up there, I gotta just plop it and set it, and hopefully we'll have time just to lift, drop, and then go. I think the only thing is the electronics side of it, right? Is getting that to be completed and routed.
Yep. Well, so you said you use an E-kit, right? That already makes life easier.
In sometimes like this one we're gonna
some
play
of
the
shows.
acoustic, but like our festival when we played last, we did the E-kit, and the one prior to that we did the E-kit. It does help setup wise. It is quicker. It's longer to take down because of all the cabling for the E-kit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But as far as like tone and levels, it's perfect.
yeah, exactly. Nice.
So with your YouTube, when did that come about? Because obviously I see your plaque there, and
Congratulations!
Woo!
Thank you.
When did you hit the 100K?
Late last year. So
Nice.
my goal was to hit it by the end of the year last year, and hit it in like November. So I made
Let's go. You get
Yeah.
And that's like the hardest part, because after that you'll see it snowballs, and you get back, like double that amount in like a year. You'll start noticing it, right? Like really snowball.
It's cool because as any content creator knows, it takes forever, that first initial journey to do it. So I got kind of lucky, I think, because I've had a lot of friends try to start like a YouTube channel, and it's so much work. I don't think people know how much work it is to like film and edit and make it look good and stuff like that. It takes forever. But I did like a 7-part video series of like setting up your click track, your backing tracks, how to send MIDI to your gear, how to sync up lighting and sync up video. So it's basically just everything that I was doing for Spiral Cell. I just made like a 7-part video series and didn't really think about it since when that happened. And that was like 7 years ago. And I was just like, I put it up there and didn't really think about it. And then in 2020, when the world shut down and I lost all of my gigs, I lost all my income, I looked and I was like just at the cusp. I had enough for YouTube to get monetized. You have to have 4,000 watch hours for the year. So people need to watch your content for 4,000 hours for the year, and you need to have 1,000 subscribers. So I was like at like 900 something. So I asked like all my friends on Facebook, I was like, hey, can you just subscribe so I can get monetized? Since I lost all of my gigs, and I got monetized, and then you apply, and it takes like 2 months to get approved.
Yeah.
And then when you first like get monetized, you make like 15 cents a day, so you don't make very much. But I was like, well, let's start doing this, and I worked on it quite a bit while I was shut down, and while we were all shut down, and just kind of had it grow from there. So really started focus on it during COVID, and just continue to do it now.
Isn't it incredible that something that was so negative really made a lot of people motivated to start something positive online that actually boosted a lot of the content that we see now? I know so many people that started a YouTube or started live streaming. I mean, even us, we were like, okay, I saw all my buddies, all my friends, and they lost all their gigs, like you were saying. And I was like, let's just do it live. And they would perform 3 songs, and then we would talk, and then perform, talk about their stuff. Oh, go subscribe. And just seeing how like it really kind of just like made everyone more like, wow, we could do this in a different way, because all the gigs were gone and we had to find a way, right? So congratulations. I mean, to do that and then to step into where you are now and doing all these projects, it's a lot for one man to do, but you have also multiple other projects. And I know the 90s% 90s is another like a cover band, it's really fun. That's like completely different from Spiral Cell.
Yeah, very different.
And how is that going? Do you still tour when you're touring, when you come back? It's something that you do in Denver, or do you take it out?
The tour was with another band. They hired me, so because I'm a musician for hire, so people can hire me to do tours or or whatever they need. It just depends. But 90% 90s is my band back home, and we'll travel wherever we can. So, but mostly it's in Colorado is where we play. So, but yeah, we've been doing that. Me and the singer have been doing that for 13 years now, I think. Is it? No, 12 years. So. Yeah, it's crazy that we've been doing it that long. Because it started because we both had original bands back in the day that we did. Mine was called Glass Delirium. His was called Nemesis, and we were friends, and we played a bunch of shows together. And it's funny to think back to this because Colorado has fires all the time now. Like summer is just fire season. Like it's scary. But
it is scary.
But back 12 years ago, there was like one really big fire, and that was like big news. And so they had like a benefit show that they did for all the wildfires, and my band couldn't do it and his band couldn't do it. We're like, well, let's just put together like a cover and do like a couple of things. And so we put together a few songs, and we realized we know a lot of 90s songs, and then we played that show, and then he was like, like some guy offered me like $50 to like play covers for tonight. And I was like, well, let's see if we can do this a little bit more. And we put together like an hour set list or something like that and played a show, and then got offered another one. It's like, can you guys play for 3 hours? And we put together as much as we could, as fast as we could, and then still doing it 12-13 years later. So
that was so fun to be able to do that. Is there, okay, this is a little bit like, I have to ask because I have a lot of friends that are in cover bands and original bands. And is there one cover that all of you guys agree, we're not doing that one, I'm sick of that one?
Yeah. Man.
Or is it hard? Like, you really can't do that.
No, I mean, I'm tired of hearing "Don't Stop Believing." If I never have to hear that song again in my life, I'll be okay.
here.
but the crowd loves it, so like I'm okay not hearing it ever again in my life. But I like making the crowd entertained, So if it's a song that I don't like playing, I'll do it, especially if the crowd likes it. If it's a slow night, I'm not playing "Don't Stop Believing" that night, But
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, that's one that I sing. We just shot a video. Our drummer hates "Sweet Caroline," and we one of our friends got footage of him just behind the drum set, just hating
looking
his
miserable.
We're gonna
I don't blame him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, he always says that, like, as the song is starting, as it does the da-da-da-da-da-da, it like does the horn section. He always says, "If you want to watch a drummer's soul die, this is." So,
there's really not a lot that the drums do on that song as it is. So
it's a steady hi-hat, like on 2 and 4. That's about it.
Or there's that little like the snares like ta ta, and that's it. And then until it picks up.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of drummers say that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a song that I sing to give our singer a break, because he, we with 90% 90s we usually perform 4 hours straight. We don't take a break. So that's usually one that I do to give him a break. So
I gotta ask the opposite
it's
now.
his excuse to be like, I don't want to sing this song. I want a break.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
right? You need a break sometimes. But is there one that you never get tired, that's close to your heart, that you love singing, that's from the 90s?
I don't sing it, and it's funny because like out of we're 90% 90s, but like our drummer texted us one time. He's like, we're like 72% 90s at this point, because we have like 200 plus songs, so we have a lot of material. But I really like playing "Let's Go Crazy" by Prince, which I know is an 80s song, but it's just fun. It's just a good intro, good vibes throughout the whole thing, and a cool solo at the end. And I don't know, that's just a fun track. I really like playing that one.
Doesn't love Prince. He was a genius.
I know, yeah.
Commanding.
I didn't get it until way late, but yeah, it absolutely brilliant.
Commanding Drum says, not everyone can sing along to Slayer.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
We throw ours in. We do like Rammstein and System of a Down and Korn and stuff like that. And it's got to be the right crowd for that, for sure. But we've got a good variety of them. So, yeah.
Pimp Left says, "Hey, Prince." Yeah.
Nice.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. If you guys are not familiar with Scott Ewell on YouTube, an amazing, not only musician, he does reviews of everything and anything that you need to know about gear.
It's not even just, it's like reviews and an educational portion of it, like how to use it, because then, he gives his point of view of like, this is what this could work for and who it is for. And then he does a breakdown on it. So I definitely recommend watching his videos for anything you need to know on, backing tracks, in-ear monitoring, wireless systems, lighting, rigs. Like, he's the go-to guy, at least for me.
And if you have any questions, let us know in chat also.
Yeah, please.
So I noticed now that you're starting to use the new setup with the lights that are attached to the speakers.
Yeah.
How is that going for you?
Good. I've used that for a while. So yeah, those are the adapters by Boogie Tech. And so when I do, an event where I run sound, which is either, for a corporate event or a wedding or a 90s cover band, like those are the main three. It's just so nice and easy to have your subwoofers, your speakers, and then the lights on top. You do have to be careful with those. And I say this in the video, but like, the surface has to be flat. You cannot have it like tilted, because then it'll knock it over or whatever. We just had that issue 2 days ago at our gig that we just did, that the ground was a little tilted, so it's like you can't use it on that type of thing. So but it's really helpful, just like to makes it an easier setup. I hate stands, like either speaker stands or lighting stands, because they're just such a trip hazard. It just drives me nuts. That's why I like the subwoofer with the speakers on top of it. And yeah, we just did a gig yesterday, and I had to use speakers that have a stand, and you could just see that they were just even at the furthest extension, it's still like a little shaky, because it had to be set up on this like grass that was kind of I don't know, I can't stand stands. So
Speaking of shaky grounds and all that, do you have a big catastrophe story of gear like that happened while you were live or on tour, anything that you can tell us that was like, just everything like Murphy's Law, like everything just went wrong that day?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I love your face. You're like, yeah. You want to know?
Yeah. No, we've had, it's mostly the rain issues with like horrible storms, because like I don't know where it is with you guys, but like in Colorado, it is just hot as balls, and then it will just storm like instantly. Like it's just crazy. And we had one that we were under this tent that was weighted down. It was pretty well weighted down. And it was like no chance of rain, type of thing. But then you could see these black clouds like start to roll in, and we got like a little bit of drizzle, and we're like, okay, well, let's take a break and like tarp things up. And in like 2 minutes, it was the worst storm, and there were like 5 of us trying to hold this tent, and our singer was like, we have to just bail, and we had to let go. And like all of our gear got soaked, and luckily Larissa, our stage manager, she unplugged the master power, because everything was going into one outlet, and that because if your equipment's live, that is much more likely to fry it. So but we took it home and let it dry out. Some of it actually didn't work when we first tried to use it, because we had a gig the next day and it didn't work. but then I waited like a week later. I was like, well, let's see if this works now. And it must have just dried out or something. So, because all of it worked except for like one power cable. Somehow we survived all of that.
Wow.
But, yeah. We just did this tour. So this tour was in Europe, and we had a power conditioner for our in-ear monitor rack that we had. And Europe has different voltage than America, as we found out. But I mean, we know that. But we had a converter. So like you plug it in, and it's supposed to convert the power so that you can use it with gear that needs 120 volts as opposed to 240 volts.
Yeah.
But the issue is that it had a switch. So you'd set it to either adapter mode or converter mode. And we had it in adapter mode and went and turned on the power conditioner, and it made a sound that I have never heard in my life. And I instantly turned it off, and I think we fried that power conditioner. I still need to text my drummer to see if it is truly fried, because sometimes you can reset those, but I mean, it's not meant to do that. So very first show, that's what happened on the tour. So
that's
a big tip, guys.
Yeah.
Check your voltage, and I'm working on a video about that right now about gear that I use on tour, and that's one of the things is make sure that you have the correct if you're going from country to country, they accept different voltage. So
Commanding Drum says the high-pitched whine sizzle.
The high-pitched whine sizzle. Yeah. Dude, I don't even know what the sound was. It was horrible.
It was screaming.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Sounded like Godzilla, and then just worse.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh well, yeah. As soon as I heard it, I shut it off instantly. Yeah. But yeah, it was not good.
So check your converters.
Yep. Make sure it's not in adapter mode. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a horror story and a half. Was that like midway through your tour set, or is that like
first show, first sound check? Yep.
You had to get that replaced right away.
Yeah. Well, I did just take out the Furman, and then I had to plug in each individual thing into like each adapter that I had, because like the mixer and then the Sennheiser in-ears, those all work with either voltage. I just had to it was just American plugs, so I had all of my adapters that I brought for that tour I had to use for the shows.
At least you had that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was only going to pack like 2, because I didn't need that many. Good
thing you didn't.
4, so, yeah,
wow.
So it worked out.
Must-haves.
Yeah.
What are must-haves to take just in case that you can tell us as a musician?
Every backup that you can think of.
Everything. Double everything.
Double everything. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I mean, I have a backup. I have 2. Usually have 2 guitars. I have a backup rig if like a tiny little portable rig if something goes wrong with like the amp modeler or the amp or something like that. I've had fellow musicians forget to bring their pedal board to a gig or something like that, so they use like my backup.
To the rescue, Scott, Super Scott.
Yep. Backup mixer, if you have 2 speakers, so if one of them craps out, you still at least can get through the show. Backup of everything. I have 2 specific bags that are just backups, like backup cables, backup mics, backup everything. So
that is like the dream guitarist. That's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
He's prepared for anything and everything.
Yeah, because I've seen it. I've seen most of it.
Right? You've seen shit. You've seen everything.
Yep, I know. So yeah, and it's the one time that you don't pack it, that's when you need it. So yeah, each time that something has been missing, that's just gone in the gear bag. So
Pimp Left says, I was on a gig many hours away. Sax player forgot his sax.
How?
Yep.
That was like the show that we played at the festival.
Oh my God!
Like,
yeah.
I had my E-kit and stuff, and then the drummer that was gonna play after us, didn't bring his drum set and didn't know that there was no drum set as a backline.
Oh no!
And then he was like, "Could I use your kit if that's okay?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, dude. It's not gonna work for you."
Everything's programmed and it's electronic. It's not and like he was just like, "Oh." No,
and he's like an hour away to get his.
But at least he was an hour away, and they fixed everything, and it worked out for him. But how?
Yeah.
How did he not know that?
I always bring like if I knew like there was a house kit and stuff and like stands and whatnot, I bring extra stands just in case. So I bring an extra, throne, and I bring my own felts and screws because sometimes those cymbal stands don't have shit. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep, for sure. I mean, I did a gig where I drove like 3 hours and forgot my mixer. So, yep. So that was, I have a video on that. Yeah. So I figured out a way to work it into my speaker that I had, and I was able to kind of pull it off because there were 3 inputs and I needed 3 inputs, so it was just like for a solo set, fortunately. But yep, we've all been there.
Wow. It's always good to have tech knowledge, right? Like just to figure out how to route things, right?
Yeah, exactly. How can you make this show somewhat work to get through it? Yeah.
You're on a break now. What's your next adventure that you have coming up?
Next adventure,
are you gonna tour later in the fall, or are you taking a little break and then doing the thing in your hometown with 90s? Or
July is super busy always. So July, August, and September are the busiest months. So most of those are just home shows. So I don't think we're doing any traveling until later. So mostly just gigging around here and working on YouTube videos and trying to find time to program Spiral. So that's the thing that's the hardest right now, because these videos take forever to do on top of gigging a lot, especially in July. And I'm kind of like backed up on my videos. Like there's a couple of them that I need to finish up, so trying to get to Spiral Cell programming is kind of been on the back burner for a while, and I really want to start doing that again.
The fact that you got a lot of videos out while you're traveling, like how much time
so you batch them out and then have them like scheduled?
Yeah, that was a lot, because I had to finish extra videos for being gone for 3 weeks, and then I also finished the next 3 videos. I got them edited down so that I could send them. I've been working with an editor. I just started working with one earlier this year, so I could send them to him so he could start editing, doing the final edits to them. So that I didn't have a ton of videos to do when I got back. So yeah, there was so much editing before I had to leave. So.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a good problem to have. I'd rather have that than what I went through with COVID, with losing all my gigs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it could take hours too.
To do video. Oh yeah, editing takes forever. Some videos are 50 hours at least of figuring it out, shooting it, editing it, and then adding the editing sugar to make it look nice and stuff. So
just the little details. It's everything, and when the music, everything just has to be precise for it to be,
So do you pre-script what you're trying to say, and then you run off a teleprompter, or do you
I outline it, so and then because I'm debating about doing a teleprompter type thing and writing it out completely, but I feel like that would not sound as authentic sometimes. So I need to experiment with it, because I'm not opposed to it. But usually I just outline these are the points that I want to make, because I'll kind of do a rundown on my own and figure out, okay, well, this isn't going to make sense, so I need to move this here, and I kind of just get a structure to the video. But then I don't really read from a teleprompter. I kind of just go, what am I talking about next? Oh, this is what I'm going to talk about next, and kind of talk with it there. So
yeah, bullet points are really important to me too. Like the way we're talking right now, I do like to have points that I want to make, but it's also when you're alone and when you're talking, it's you have to keep it going, right? And it has to feel natural. So sometimes it helps to have those bullet points, but with us, it's more I like to go with the flow and kind of go from one subject to the next, and where does it go? I see your guitars right there. What are your favorite guitars? Those guitars are beautiful. Those two.
Yep,
and then you have one in behind you.
I do. I have 5 of them. So yeah.
Oh, what? Actually,
he just moved out of the way. He was hiding a whole row of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, they're back there. But yeah, these 2 are my favorites for sure. My PRS. Opposite. Yeah, PRS. And then my Babbitt's acoustic. Those 2 are my babies. If something happened to those, I'd be devastated for sure.
Oh.
So.
You have them mounted up like trophies.
Yep, I know. Yep, exactly. And they're in the prime spots too.
Yeah. Do you have 7 strings or any of those?
I don't. No, I don't. Yeah. So,
how do you feel about those and the ones with the ones that don't have all the neck, your favorite?
I love the headless ones.
The headless ones.
Mm-hmm.
The Kiesels.
Anything that just makes things more compact, I'm all about that. I've done videos about how this is my pedal board right here. It's just a little Bluetooth pedal board. So one of those, the guitars it's by Moore GTRS guitar. But so how you have pedals Helix and Quad Cortex and stuff like that. Instead of having a pedal, you program all your tones in an app. and it saves to the guitar directly. And then there's like a button on the guitar to switch your tones, or you can use this little Bluetooth pedal. But I literally just go wireless out into the board, and that's my entire setup. So I'm all about like simplicity as much as possible, especially when I do covers. And I've said this before, like when I do covers, I'm not as like passionate about like I really have to get this tone for Footloose exact. I'm just I'm gonna play the riff and make people happy, and the audience, especially with covers, they don't care if it's like that's not a tube amp. No one cares about that with covers. But with Spiral Cell, I'm more particular about like this is something I wrote. This is more personal. I'm particular about getting that. So then in that case, I'll use like my HX Stomp or something like that. So, but especially for covers, this thing has been awesome.
Covers, like half of the people are drunk anyway, so they're just having fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I've played a song and I've been like, man, I fucked that up, but people are like, oh, I love this song, and yeah, so
you played that perfectly.
Yeah, you played perfectly. It's like, no, I didn't, but as long as you think so, yeah. So
play Freebird.
Yeah.
Oh, we had when we did our show. It was last summer.
Last summer. This drunk lady kept saying, "Play Michael Jackson."
We were playing cover.
I want to hear Michael Jackson.
We were playing original music. They didn't want to hear Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And it was just like that, really high pitched, drunk.
Yep.
And then she was in the front of the stage, and she was just
like
doing
she's doing the wobbly robot. Like,
oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I know what you're talking about. Yep. We've all seen them. We do when we get the Freebird thing. We play a little bit of Freebird, and our drummer plays kazoo for that like lead guitar part. So that's what we do if someone asks for Freebird. Yep.
It's a little snippet. It's like that's all you get.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, we're not doing all 18 minutes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that little thing is like, wow, that's so small and compact. So you went to NAMM, and you went and just talked to so many vendors. I love that. I mean, we did something similar. We went to the UK. And we went to the UK drum show in Liverpool, and that was amazing. We want to go to NAMM coming next year, right? And hopefully get to meet you, obviously, Scott. Yeah. And so that experience alone, you get so much of, like the stuff that's coming out and all the things like that. What was the one that was really a highlight of this NAMM, this year, that you really like? Have you gotten something that you really use now in your arsenal?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think it came out the year before, if I remember correctly. But there's a company called Embode Me. They made the Air Ray Touch, and they made the Air Ray 2, which came out. So it's like it's a MIDI controller, but it's I have it set up over here, but it's all like tangled up right now, so it'd probably be hard to grab, but you program it to look how you want. So instead of having, you can make it look like a keyboard, you can make it look like an Ableton push, or you can make it look like drum pads, and it's very expressive in how you program and perform. So that's like the main part of the new Spiral Cell show, is using that and an Ableton push. So I love that. Anything that's like creative, and I say this in like my NAMM videos, like I kind of avoid like the guitar section, because it's like, oh, another I found my favorite acoustic and my favorite electric guitar. So if it's like, well, the wood on this one gives it more sustain, I'm like, I honestly just don't care. Yeah, I hate to say that, because like any musician can, whatever they enjoy, they should keep doing it. But for me personally, I'm like, I want something that's more unique that I haven't seen before, type of thing. It's like we've mastered the guitar. The guitar is great. I have awesome guitars.
I know what I like, and I know what I want, and I got it.
Yep. Yep. So I want to see something that's like more interesting and unique and something like that. So
yeah, we're always trying to find something that stands out,
Or lights up, because we love like anything with lights.
Yeah, I drill holes in my E kit and I put light strips in there, and then have that like when we do like live stream, like drum streams, the chat can trigger like light changes and stuff through a program, and yeah, we have it all set up for like just some fun interactive type things, and we're gonna try to see if we can incorporate that going into our like live shows.
Nice.
So.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with your whole thing going on with the Spiral Cell and having like, you have a mask. And you said that did your wife make the mask? I saw in one of your videos.
Yeah. No, you're good. That's awesome that you know that. Yeah. The very first show, like I spent so much time programming the show, like lighting and looping. So it's instead of, like a live looper, like they normally like trigger their pedals in order to trigger it. I did it all with MIDI because there's, the dialogue and stuff that syncs up to it. So I have to have it programmed ahead of time. So I'm still performing. All that stuff is still performed and recorded by me, but I don't have to pedal dance. It's all done like that. So I spent a lot of time working on that. And then it was like a week before the show. I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Am I just going to come out in like jeans and a t-shirt for this? I was like, that doesn't feel right. But the very first show was like November something of like 2016. That was the very first show. So all the Halloween stores were open. So we're like, let's just go and see if we can build something. And my wife really helped me build make 5-6 different masks for that first show.
Wow.
And I switch them based on the section of the song. So, and then she made some from scratch. One of them that I used in like that last video that was built from like paper mache. She like took part of my face.
I
And
really like that one.
yeah, that one's a really cool one. Then like the mouthpieces are made from like old guitar strings. So yeah, so she's really creative like that. So she was a huge help.
Wifey came in clutch, and she made like different varieties, so you can pick for. I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because the mood of the song, and then you like kind of like the Phantom of the Opera. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it helps. It fit well for such a like theatrical show. So.
Yeah, we got. I want to show one of your videos that you have here.
So you guys can see the magic.
So this one is the trailer for Prismize. It says Augmented.
Yep. So this is it's the first track on the new album, but it also acts as like a trailer because it was actually written originally as like a movie trailer. I did it just as like a composition for pretending that it's a movie trailer, but it ended up fitting on the album, and it actually kind of. It ties in with the rest of the album, and it just fit as a good opener. So it ended up being both.
Sweet. Let's check it out.
Thanks, man.
How fucking cool is that? Spiral cell.
Nice, thanks, guys.
That looks like it could be for like a Resident Evil or like some kind of like awesome video game or trailer for like a movie, a sci-fi movie mixed with some other like, altered reality. So
nice.
Badass,
Yeah,
Scott. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's Kyle from Digital Mile. The director is awesome, dude. I love working with him. He's very talented and is really cool. So yeah, shout out to Kyle from Digital Mile.
So he had the spots available like to do those recordings, like those locations.
Yeah. I had like the general idea of what I wanted for the video, and he found the location, and we spent like a good day there getting it kind of set up, and then filmed that night. So yeah, it was.
How long did it take?
The editing took forever on that video because of the making the screens flicker, because that was all done in post, and I'd never done that before. There was like one shot that was like a pan that took like a day just to get that shot because I was just so new to doing something like that. we shot it all in one day. We did get it all done in one day, and that's what's cool about Kyle is like he knows. He's got a lot of ideas, and it's like let's get as many as we can, and then we'll figure it out, and edit it later. So
Yeah,
so
that sounded amazing, and everything that we heard was your production, was what you created.
this was my first time recording, mixing, and doing it myself. I used a AI mastering tool to master it, but did
Oh,
the recording, and yeah, I know. So
that was my
some
next
musicians are gonna be
question
right
about
at
AI too. Tell us about that.
AI is an interesting thing because, like, a lot of musicians are definitely worried about that. Yeah, and I
Hmm.
understand for sure. Have you guys? I tell everyone, like, if you've never, because people have heard of Suno, like, and they know, like, oh, it can create songs, but most people like haven't used it. And that's something I would recommend everyone do, is that they at least like try it. Just go and say, hey, make a song about these lyrics in this style with this instrument, give it a few parameters, and watch how fast it spits it out. Like, it's pretty crazy how fast it spits it out. It's not, and it doesn't, especially vocals, like, they sound a little bit fake, but like the instrumentation sounds really good, like, with it, so uh, every new tool that comes out is always going to be seen as like scary, or like, oh, this is going to be the end of the world, type of thing. But at
From the
least just be
beginning of
aware.
time, when
I know, yeah.
internet came out, there was always some kind of like, negativity, and then it ended up becoming everything. So
Yep.
it's, everything is a tool in the way you use it, but creativity comes from us, and we can
Yeah.
use that and manipulate that. We can't let it manipulate us, is the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yep. Well, because like I said, I used an AI thing to master the album, and I think my first album, where I brought it to an actual studio, Colorado Sound Studios here, and JP, the guy who mastered it, did a fantastic job. But that was obviously more expensive. My goal was to try to see if I could do it myself, and then use the money to make good videos. So instead of spending the money in the studio, uh, to save up the money to see if I could do it myself, first of all, but then also spend the money to make good videos. So that was kind of the goal with it. So,
What
I did a pretty good job mastering, I thought. So, but obviously, like, if I went to Colorado Sound Studios again, it would have sounded better. So, it's always this balancing thing of like saving time, saving money, versus getting it done, even better. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
always going to be that balance. So
Well, you
What?
do have a bachelor's degree in music business, and you've learned a lot also, not only from experience, but also by learning yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's because you guys did your research, so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, because I went to CU Denver for school, and the way that they do it at CU Denver, they give you do the three basics of performance, recording arts, and business. They give you the basics for all of them, and then you choose which one you want to put an emphasis on. And I performing is what I want to do. I love performing live. That's at my core. That's my favorite thing about being a musician. But I was like, I hate the music business side of it, so I
Yeah.
forced myself to do the business side instead. And it was funny because I would still like, I can't remember what they call it, where you can sit in a class, like, but not like get graded for it. So like I did that in like an orchestration class.
Oh,
Like, I
wow.
just sat in with it because I wanted to learn, more stuff about performance stuff. But yeah, all the business stuff I was kind of more forced to learn. But it's funny because, like, I didn't know anything about live sound at all until 90% 90s got a gig where there was no sound guy, and we're like, well, what the hell do we do? And we like went to Guitar Center, got like the cheapest microphone, and barely figured out a mixer that our drummer had, and kind of just half-assed it and made it through the show somehow, with multiple issues of feedback when we first started. I still remember, but then just kind of just learned from there. And then it was like, well, we can make our life easier if we get like a digital mixer. Oh, well, we can have in-ear monitors so we don't have to deal with all these feedback issues, and just kind of learned over the years, so.
Yeah. So I want to go back to your recording. What do you use to record? What program?
What Logic? Yeah, Logic is for sure my main DAW for studio stuff. For live, I use Ableton Live, but Logic is just what I started on. There people will always ask, like, what's the best DAW to like record on? It's like, oh, you have to use Pro Tools, you have to use Logic. It's like, it's the one that you know best and that you know how to get the results from. That's the best one, and Logic's the one that I grew up with, so I know that one pretty well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it sounds really good. And
Thanks.
the integration of like the AI mastering. I think we tried to do that with our last song, and then I came across that the final mix that I've done was more solid in sound compared to what the AI was able to deliver. So it's like, I guess there's like that subject, preference, right? Like what it is that you think or feel that is the best in sound for you.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly. Yep. No, totally.
So we have another video that you shared with us. Spire Cell, Sphere Storm.
Sphere Storm, yep. So this is the next track on the latest album, Prismize, and this was done with Kyle from Digital Mile. Again, different warehouse, but pretty. He's the one who found the location. And,
wow, those locations look so badass.
Yeah,
yeah. They're shady. There's some weird. There was one part at this warehouse where there was like a big hole in the ground, and it dropped like 30 feet or something like that. So it'd be like, okay, don't even stand near this, like type of thing, and don't put any equipment by that. So
no stunts here.
Were these locations like restricted, do not enter, and you're like, screw that, I need a video?
No, he knows the guy who has this warehouse, and I paid the fee to rent it for the day. So this one took a while because there's four different scenes or four different characters, and you'll see that with like the different lighting and obviously the look of the characters, but each of them have their own room. So we found a different spot through this warehouse and filmed it at each different spot. So yeah, I love how this one turned out. So this one's a cool one. Just FYI, on my end, I didn't have any sound. I don't know if that's just on Zoom, but just on mine, when you guys played Augmented, I didn't have any sound. Just FYI, I don't know if that was going out to the live stream as well, but just on my end.
That could be my routing on your side.
Okay,
yeah.
I know the song, so that's okay. I was just saying, like, if the audience didn't hear it, just FYI.
Okay, thank you.
Let us know, chat.
Alert. Power in all quadrants disabled. Portable power currently at 12% unstable. Approximately 14 minutes remaining. No other generators responding.
Storm took out everything.
I'm currently on only portable generators. Fortunately, I charged mine last week.
All the power is out. I'm able to document this on my portable devices.
I can't remember a time it ever stormed like this.
It went out sometime this morning.
Hopefully it comes back up soon.
Portable power currently at 9% unstable. Approximately 9 minutes remaining.
We need to find a way to get the coils up and running.
As long as we wait it out, we should have it back in about 10 or 15 minutes, give or take.
I told them to update to the latest firmware.
We should all meet at the radio tower to figure this out.
We should check back in with the station to see when this is ending.
This is why we have a security system in place.
Portable power currently at 8% unstable. Approximately 8 minutes remaining. Would you like to contact communications, electrical, or security by rerouting backup power?
All the systems are on lockdown. It's supposed to function this way.
You're in circuit to cut out in a storm.
The coils will heat 4 times faster right now. That would damage the barriers that we do have.
If I can heat the coils, we can get electrical backup.
The station is always inaccurate. And the system has so many bugs, it's unreliable.
out about the malfunctions in the security system last week.
Just need to relax and I'll come on in a few minutes so they just don't try anything stupid.
A sheer storm has no inception point. Lost in limbo with half the code. These noises are voices with the pledge. I'd rather be right than progress.
Warning. Excessive power voltage detected in electrical and engineering clusters.
Security missed this completely, and I've not heard from them. I'd recommend a full review and oversight on their department.
Do that, everyone. Don't
How
try
could we
anything
have known it was
stupid.
storm?
The barriers will hold.
Excessive power
I'm not
voltage
sitting around
detected in
doing that.
electrical and engineering clusters.
Internal sockets are gone for sure.
I knew it
It
would
wasn't our fault. How could we have known it in storms like this?
Should have known better.
I have no idea what
Wait
they're
for signal from radio station.
I know what I'm doing.
Should have just listened.
Lost in limbo with half the code. These noises are voices with a pledge. This here storm, it won't have an end.
Yay! Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So haunting, so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love how
God.
that one turned out. That one's a cool one.
I hope you come to New York City next time. I would love to see this live and
Yeah.
just like it's
Yeah,
like
I'd love to.
immersive, beautiful, captivating, and then obviously, I mean, you're the whole show, a one-man show. I'm always saying how loopers, I'm always in awe when I see one person just do. It's like you're your own spaceship, just doing everything.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, it's a challenge to try to keep it like interesting too, because like after 3 songs, people are like, okay, I get it. You're gonna build the song up, but having the dialogue and the lighting and stuff like that, I try to keep people like more interested in it. So yeah,
There's
it's a fun show.
story behind it all.
What's up?
There's a story behind it all.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And that's what kind of keeps it like, hopefully, like keeps people interested in it with like the dialogue and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, the intro kind of reminded me when we were into doing the escape room, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
it was like the digital, like this is your time limit.
Yeah. Nice. I like
Yeah.
that. Totally.
And I love the whole. So tell us more about the character and the lore of it. Do you have one to share with us?
I usually like to for the story. I like to have people kind of make up their own interpretation of it. Like if the director David Lynch, I'm a big fan of his. He already just passed away recently, which is super sad. But he never really explained like what it meant. It just kind of was like give people the idea and let them kind of figure it out. Although I did like doing like videos makes it a little bit more kind of obvious like what I'm trying to do. So there's like a graphic novel for that chapter as well, to try to explain it a little bit more so people can at least like understand what's going on. But I like people just having kind of their own interpretation of it for sure. So
I like that a lot, and I understand that. So where do you get your inspiration from?
David Lynch was a big influence for me for sure. So I loved Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks, and stuff like that. But it was, as far as like the story with this one, it was I knew that I wanted to make like a solo project because I had like some instrumental stuff that didn't really work with the band that I was playing with. But I was like, how am I gonna make this interesting? So originally, like with Spiral Cell, I was gonna do just like a weird sounds, like making weird sounds with my guitar, so make it kind of sound like a movie score with my guitar and just be all instrumental. But then the very first song on the first album, I had a day off. I didn't have any gigs. I wasn't teaching. I wasn't doing anything, and I just like worked on that. I had the instrumentals, but then like the story came together just in that day. It was just I love those days where you just have a perfect like creative like session. Like I love those days. And I had the whole thing out and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I really want to have a concept album with it. And I was a big fan of The Wall as well.
Oh, me too. Concept albums. Oh man, they got me when you said that. Yeah.
The Wall was huge for me, so it was it made sense to kind of go in that direction. But then I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to have a story and kind of built it out from that. So
I mean, we've talked so much about that, how we really dream of having a concept album.
Yeah, we have that in our future plans.
Yes.
Creating a concept.
That's awesome.
We're really big into collaborations too. You know, getting people on board. Do you have any collaborative works with your solo stuff?
With Spiral Cell or just
with Spiral Cell, or is it just strictly your productions?
No, I've done stuff like the first album. Like I used there's another musician called Ronit, who's a friend of mine from college, who's really talented. She did vocals on that. I've played like guitar tracks for her on one of her songs as well. I definitely love working with different musicians as well. I've performed live with her as well when she did a tour and came through Denver as well. So
amazing.
I haven't talked to her in a while, but yeah, she's really talented. So.
Oh. Well, I love what you're doing, Scott. I think your energy, your vibe, everything is like really genius, because it's something that I really admire when someone can put together something that it's all really coming from you, and you're the cell, you're the spiral cell. And then you have the presentation and the look. And I think that's very important because, okay, so we talked about this and I think you're on to something here too, because when you have a cover band, right, and you watch them, I know with the 90s cover band, there's tons of cover bands. They kind of, they have t-shirts, they do their thing, whatever. But I feel like to have a presence, to have a look, to be memorable is so important to me. And people are going to remember you and be like, that guy, man, Spiral Cell, you saw, like, the guy in the lights and everything. It's a memorable thing. And did you always have that vision to be that, or did it just evolve over time? Like what your wife making the masks and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that my wife had that idea, to help me with the mask. Because like I said, that was like last minute. I was like,
wow.
I have no idea what I'm going to do for the look. Because I had the lights and everything were there.
You knew that you wanted lights.
I knew that we wanted lights, because I had to program that before for the first show. Mm-hmm. It was. I wanted it to be theatrical. Even like with my old bands, I always loved doing like theatrics. Like when we had a CD release, we had like dancers, and then we did like extended parts of songs and different things. So I've always been a big fan of like theatrics. So
I mean, you are a Tool fan, so
I am a Tool fan. Yep, exactly. So, yep.
I get it.
Do you So for like Spiral Cell, do you pick and choose like locations that you want to play at, considering the time it takes to set everything up?
Yeah.
I haven't done a show in a while since I'm trying to program like the new live show. So it's been a little while, but a lot of venues, have enough room, and that's it doesn't take up, at least with this new setup, that's what I'm trying to do, is not take up a ton of room. And I've actually, my wife helps me set up and tear down, which is huge. And I also usually hire someone to help me get the gear on or at least off the stage, because I can get all of the stuff off and then pack it up there, so I don't take up a bunch of time for whoever the next band is. So it's not too bad, especially when I do that. And like the very first show, I hired 2 guys to help me out. So I've done a few shows where it was like just me and my wife, and that was pretty tough to get everything off the stage and stuff like that. But
yeah, because it looks like you have a lot of equipment, between the lighting, the projectors, the all the rigs that you're running between, looping the guitars, the drums, and your pads. So like, are you able to get that on and off within 15 minutes, or do you try to strive to get like, oh, let me just do an opener so that I get there early and set everything up, and then just tear everything off the stage after, or let me close that way I have a little bit of time to work on it?
Yeah, I almost prefer opening, because I've done that a couple of times, because I opened for like the band Lordy. I've opened for who's the other band I opened for? Why am I blanking on their name all of a sudden? I can't remember.
It happens to us all the time.
I know, I'm blanking on their name, but yeah, it was like a 3-band bill, and I was first. I was like, oh, thank God, because that makes it easier.
Yeah.
But then I opened for God Is an Astronaut, who's a great band. I love that band. and I was second. So that was a tough one. But fortunately, the first guy was also like a solo performer, so we could set up both of our things.
Perfect.
And didn't have to worry about it. So for like the national shows, it's definitely tough because I don't want to take up that much time. And I did learn, like from the first show, I had like 3 different big pedals and stuff like that, and then I had a ton of lights. And I was like, okay, if I'm an opener, I don't need all of my lights, I need just like my main ones. And I figured out how to loop in Ableton, so I didn't need my looper. I figured out how I didn't need my Helix. I could have just like my HX Stomp being triggered with MIDI. So it made it a lot more portable. It made it a lot easier to set up. But yeah, that first show, I was really glad that I was the opener because it took a while to set all that up. And then, yeah, I just got, actually part of the live show is actually tearing down part of the stage, which is another part of the theatrics. Like as soon as I'm done with my acoustic, I have either my wife or the person I hired take that off the stage, and then I play like the guitar part and I hand off my guitar, and then I take the keyboard and hand off that, and then I have a drum thing and I hand that off. And part of it was like the theatrics, but it was also, there was a part of me that was like, how am I going to get all this shit off the stage? And I was like, well, why don't we, like at the end of the set, like, you know, as I finish the loops, why don't I just move it off of the stage? So it kind of doubled its like practicality and, you know, made it a little more theatrical as well. So.
Yeah, that's perfect. I've been doing that at the end of our shows. The last song we play, we just usually like you know, some space in between, and I would just start taking cymbals off, the ones I'm not gonna hit in the last hit.
You're like, hit, all right, I'm unscrewing
start unscrewing as I'm playing.
Unscrewing it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I love that.
Oh yeah, it's always good to think ahead about certain things too, and the fact that you're you know, planning that, trying to figure out how to best simplify certain things to still make things work to the extent of your show, and make sure that everything is moving accordingly and it's showing everything you want to show, and you're not missing out on anything, that you're reducing some of that equipment.
Are they venues that you absolutely love, that are your favorite, that you're like, that place always, every time I play, top notch, I love it?
Yeah, I love the Gothic Theater and the Bluebird Theater in Denver. Those places are awesome. So yeah,
they sound nice. Gothic Theater and
yep. Yeah, I had my 2 prior bands. Our farewell shows were both at the Gothic, so that also holds a important part for me. So,
Gothic Theater built to be like a Gothic cathedral looking thing, or
yeah, it kind of has that. Yeah, it's like a nice like 1,000-person like club venue theater type of thing, and yeah, it's a cool spot. I really like that spot.
I have to write it down if I ever go there.
Yeah.
And you also, we got to mention, because your wife is amazing, you have Yule Duo, which is a duo with you and your wife.
Yep.
How did that happen? How was that? How did that come together?
It was because we did a 90% 90s show, and our singer like double booked himself. He had like another one. He was doing like 80s thing and a 90s thing. But it was like he just had to do like, you know, a 45-minute set. So the way that it ended up working is that he would do part of the show, and my wife knew these songs. You know, she was a singer, like, and she had a band, you know, in high school and stuff like that. But she's been to a bunch of the shows. She knew the songs, so she filled in for like half of it, and then he did the other half. And we're just like, why don't we just do a band together? Like,
yeah,
you know,
super duo right here.
Yeah, exactly. We've already, you know, we know a ton of songs. So we started doing that and just put together different songs as well. Like, obviously we started a lot with the 90s because I already knew that and she knew that. But then it was like, what other songs would work? And started doing that a bit more. And then we got the opportunity to go to like Cancun and Bahamas and stuff like that.
Oh, perfect. And you get to relax in between. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So we were like, well, let's do that, you know, and it kind of just grew from there. So now we can either perform like duo acoustic, like with no tracks. Sometimes we can do that if we need to, but then we can also do a duo or a trio or a 4-piece band. And that's part of the way that like our backing tracks work. Is it's really nice is like if we have a live bass player, we just mute just the bass on our tracks, and then everything else, all the keys and stuff are still in there. And then we have a live bass player. But if, you know, the budget or the stage or the musicians, whatever the reason why that we don't have a bass player, we just push one button and then the bass is in the backing track. So
sounds just like what we do.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I eventually I want to get to that, because right now my tracks are not split where you have like guitars one, bass on another. Like I have to recreate tracks in full and just take out the bass and stuff.
Yeah, that's the way that I started doing it first because I exported like 3 different versions. What are you using for your tracks?
I used SPDSX for now. Eventually, I
gotcha.
want to get the B beat.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. I was either going to suggest the B beat or Stage Tracks 3. Stage Tracks 3 is the one that I use specifically because they have something called Q mode. Because neither You Will Do It or 90% 90s really goes in with a set list. If You Will Do It is playing with like the band, then we will, because we don't want to give them 200 songs to learn. But with like 90s, we go in with no set list in mind. We kind of just start it and then we kind of add songs as we go. So it's easier to do with Stage Tracks. But the B beat is awesome for multi-track outputs. And then if you don't have a bass player, or if you do have a bass player, you just don't plug in the bass output channel. Or you can actually use the mute families in the B beat as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, definitely something that we want to look into getting in order to enhance our rig.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you can have the MIDI control and DMX control with like lights and also video to go along with it. So that's like one of the big things that we're aiming for, because we're in the same vein of wanting to make things more theatrical on stage, with the lights and video and stuff. So that's going to be our future projection right there.
Our museum in space with everything, all the lights.
The literal projection, yeah.
Yeah.
B-Beat doesn't have a DMX out, just FYI. It has video out and MIDI out, but it doesn't have DMX out. So, but there's a device called the MVP, and it's a device that you can send MIDI messages to it, and it's a standalone device, and you can send MIDI messages and it'll output DMX lighting scenes.
As a converter.
So it pairs really well with the B-Beat for that. So
look into that one.
Yeah.
So what are your top 5 guitarists? Because I'm gonna get into like your personal preferences now. What were your 5 most influential guitarists that you loved growing up, that you take influences from?
Steven Wilson from Porcupine Tree and solo. He's done a lot of solo stuff recently, but I'm a huge Porcupine Tree fan. That was one of my favorite bands growing up. Just his style. He's got just unique songwriting, and he used to do more solos like back in the day. Now he's big enough that he hires like really good guitar players to play these insane solos that I can't even keep up with. But I've always really liked his style and his songwriting. I also really like that he's a songwriter and he focuses on that, because like he'll write parts for like keys and stuff, and just a cool style, and he doesn't write the same song over and over again. Porcupine Tree's got good variety.
I love his
really
vocal layering.
What's up?
His vocal layering.
Yeah. I remember him saying he had like one song that had like 32 vocal layers or something like that. So
what was that one song in Porcupine Tree where you hear the loop of a segment and he's singing something else on top of it? It's not Open Car. It was something else. I can't remember what it was.
Open Car is a great song.
Yeah. But great band.
Yeah, I love them. I mean, back in the day, like I ordered like all of their B-sides, like all their unreleased stuff, like on CDs back when that was a thing. But I love them. Adam Jones from Tool was a huge influence for me for sure. Being able to play in different time signatures. I'm a big fan of time signatures, like being nerdy about that. But he was huge for me. I learned a lot of Tool songs. Currently, I think Pliny, if you guys are familiar with Pliny.
We got to see them live.
Yeah.
Amazing. I haven't got to see him live yet, but he's so tasty. Just as in the instrumental work, he's just so good. I absolutely love his playing for sure.
Incredible.
I got into him somewhat recently, so that wasn't like as I was like growing up, type of thing. But now I just think he's probably like the best guitar player of like this like generation, just because he's just so tasty with his.
I agree.
Yep. For as far as like influences for it. I was big. Nirvana was like one of my first big bands that I was really obsessed with. It was like Nirvana and Linkin Park were probably the 2 big ones. Like when I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
Those were huge for me. But I don't know if it was like I wouldn't say like the guitar playing was like. I mean, I learned so many of those songs, so it had to be, But I liked the just
you have
how
the seasoning of those bands.
Yeah, exactly. System of a Down was really big too, because that was like how I learned how to play fast, because it's not like shreddy, but it's a lot of fast, like open 2-3-2 type of stuff that that I really like doing. So I would say System of a Down was a big influence as well, just because that kind of helped me play a little bit faster when I was younger. So yeah, those would probably be my list, I think.
It's nice.
Solid
good,
list.
Good eclectic, diverse.
I love all
there.
of those bands too, by the way. So I can relate.
Perfect. Nice.
So
Opeth too. Opeth was big too.
Opeth.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
Just because they would have such a variety of their songs, like how they go from like this horror, like demonic sound to these soothing
melodic,
melodic parts
I
with
love
just
that.
gorgeous vocals. I love Michael's voice too. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very how would you say, dynamic in its range.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm into that.
So your current guitar rig, is it like I know you showed the Bluetooth stomp pedal. Do you is that your main go-to now as opposed to the like Neuro DSPs or anything like that?
For covers, yeah, it is, because again, like I mentioned, covers like, and I've said this in the videos, like this thing is really convenient, and I get like 90% of my tone with that, but the quad cortex and the helix sound better. But again, like with covers, I want to get the general idea of it, because especially since I know like 500 songs at this point, like it's like I know that, again, the audience doesn't care if I'm using a tube amp, or they want to hear the Sweet Child of Mine riff sound somewhat like the Sweet Child of Mine riff and then sing along with the song. So I use that more for covers and stuff like that. But when I do Spiral Cell, I use the HX Stomp. And then on this tour, I use the Quad Cortex and the Nano Cortex as my backup. So I'm a big fan of all of those for sure. It just depends on which band I'm playing. There's another band I play with. It's called Lola Black, and it's an original project. I didn't write any of the songs. I just joined the band. And yeah, with that one, I either use the HX Stomp XL or the Quad or Nano Cortex. So with original stuff, like I said, I'm more passionate about getting the tones right, especially if it's something that I wrote. So, and I'm a gearhead, and I'm in a blessed position where I get to try out so much cool gear that I have these options as well.
So with all of your experience, between all the bands you played in, even your originals, all the tech and stuff that you had to deal with along the way, and even, through the business side of it all, what's the one thing that you think all musicians that are just coming into the music scene, or those that just don't understand, like what is the one thing that you would want to implore that they should understand and think about when they're joining into the music and the business side of it?
Yeah, be an easy person to work with. Especially if you're like a guest in the band, or you're being invited to play with a band or something like that, or even if you're putting a band together. I know I can think of multiple people who are insanely talented, but it's just like, man, you're just such an asshole, like type of thing. It's like, I would rather work with someone who's 80% as talented as this person, but is easy to work with and good to hang out with. So
it's all about the hang, like they always say, right?
Really
like, are
is.
you cool to hang out with? Can I stand you for like a day and a half and not want to just walk away? And I agree.
Exactly, especially if you're about to tour with this person, you're going to be around them all the time for rehearsals and shows and stuff like that. So be a good person, and always be prepared. That's one of the things, especially since I've been hired to play with so many different bands, is I go into that first rehearsal show ready. Like I could do I could do the show that day, is kind of what I word it. Obviously, I still want to get in rehearsal if something is wrong, or if I learned something wrong, or if they changed it up live or whatever. But always be prepared, especially if you're about to do a show. The worst thing is to sit there and try to teach someone something when everyone else knows the songs or whatever. So always be prepared for the gig. So
yeah, it's good.
You have a lot of gigs. You have a lot of projects, Scott. How do you have time?
Yeah, how do you balance your time?
You're like the it girl of the guitarist and tech. Like, what? You have a lot of stuff going on.
I do, yeah. It without a Google Calendar, I would be screwed. So
reminder in a week, you have this going on.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And luckily, 90% 90s can have fill-ins. So when I was on tour, they did gigs without me. This corporate band that I play with, they can always, they have a guy who can fill in. They have 3 different guys that can fill in, and they have a guy who can fill in and do sound like as well, because I usually do the sound and in-ears and stuff like that for that gig as well. So yeah, but without Google Calendars, I would be screwed, because then I can be like, okay, I'm available, or no, I'm not available, or oh, this gig is really cool. And like the 90s guys are cool. They're like, yeah, do you want to play, this club that we've played a million times, or do you want to go to Europe? They understand. And so yeah.
Speaking of, I mean, you've gone to a lot of places. Is there a place you haven't hit up yet that you would love to travel to and play?
To perform at?
Yeah.
Man, me and my wife visited Finland. She's a photographer, and she got hired to do photography in Finland. So we made a trip out of it. I love that country. That country is really cool. I'd love to go play out there. That'd be really fun. When
the auroras are out and everything.
Yeah. It's just a pretty area.
Magical.
Helsinki was the cleanest big city I've ever seen in my life. So you guys are in New York, so yeah,
we dream about that kind of stuff here.
Yeah.
I always tell everyone, don't come here around this time. Just don't. The smell, it's awful. Yeah. Fall is the best time. Spring is beautiful. It's pretty. Even winter, when it's snowing, it's gorgeous. If you don't mind, the cold. But summer, yuck. It's horrible to come to New York in the summer. But yeah, I feel like Europe is just stunning. And yeah, I mean.
Oh, it is.
So Finland. Have you been to Japan?
I haven't, no. I had a bass player who moved to Japan. I think she still lives there actually to this day. But have you been there?
No, that's mine.
Bucket list.
That's my dream. That's
Nice.
what I was saying. I was like, ooh, I wonder if he's been there. Because, the cherry blossom season and just everything is just gorgeous. But just traveling and being a musician and doing what you do is the dream. And trying food from around the world, food, music, exploring, adventure. That's life.
Yep.
You're living life doing that.
Have you used AI to help with your scheduling?
Not with my schedule. I use AI a lot to help with answering questions about gear stuff and stuff like that. It's super helpful for that. Sometimes I'll be driving to a gig, and you can if you buy the pro version of ChatGPT, you can have a conversation. Yeah. So I'll ask it questions and have it answer stuff for me. So it's pretty cool. It is really helpful. A lot of musicians are pretty anti-AI, I feel like, but I'm like, man, this is cool. This is really cool.
We're pretty open.
Yeah, we use it to help with context, legal documents, and just to get an overall understanding of certain things, and then and then we embellish, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely helpful.
Yeah, if you're afraid of anything that's new, you're gonna be left behind. That's the way I feel.
We just did an AI video of a promo of us with the new VO3 that they launched, and I was like, oh man, this is crazy.
Yeah,
why not?
It's wild.
Yeah,
it is. Well, I for the latest Spiral Cell album, that artwork was AI generated. So,
you can't be afraid.
I sent it to a graphic designer to edit a few more things. I was like, "That's really cool. Can you fix these things?"
Yeah.
And so
that's kind of what we did
Splinter,
with.
It's me in the ocean, right? I'm there, but then the boat was AI'd because we didn't have a boat.
Yeah.
And we did a little, so you do a little thing here and there, but the creativity is still ours.
Even Unawake, we had 3 different AI images, and then I blended a certain, to a certain degree using Affinity Designer.
Oh, nice.
And then I added, I did the logo, and then I did the text, and we just kind of embellished certain part of the art. But yeah, I mean, if it works,
Yeah. No, it works great. Everyone's going to find a way to do something easier or save money. That is always going to be part of it, whether it's AI or whatever. And that's part of the thing. It's if you can be replaced with AI, it is possible. You definitely can be replaced with AI, or you can just offer something so valuable that you can't be replaced with AI. Type of
boom.
Thing was the same thing with backing tracks. Musicians are always worried about backing tracks, and it's well, if you're a good person to hang out with, you're a part of the band, you put on a good show, then you shouldn't have to worry about that. That's
right.
Just part of life. So it's and yeah, a lot of musicians are like, there's no soul in AI music, and I'm like, well, I agree. Yeah, you're not putting that energy in to creating something. It's different to type in a prompt and get something spit out of it, but it's I'm always gonna keep writing and put myself into this. Like that is satisfying for me.
Yeah.
Someone else is going to make AI music. You're not going to stop that. There's AI artists releasing a new album every week. Or
that's
whatever.
crazy though. When you think about that,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
It is pretty wild. So, but
You
it's
gotta
like
keep doing stuff.
yeah. But it's like it's like that's always going to exist. But so is me putting my heart into something that I'm interested in creating. So it's always gonna. Those are always both going to be there.
I guess it can help with like if you have writer's block and then like you're trying to think of something that can lead to another part, and then AI just generates an idea, and you're like, oh yeah, that can work, and then you can embellish off of that.
100%, and that's the way almost everything comes out. It's like one idea, and then it blossoms from that. Like it always it's once you have that starting point, then you can have the creativity. So if AI gives it to you, if it's something that you see in nature, who cares that found that spark, and then you go from there. So it's not something that I'm super worried about, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, AI is the end of the world. It's like not, it's just new technology that's there that can be a tool, and any tool can be misused, and any tool can just be helpful. So
yeah,
100%.
So the one thing I did want to mention and get in some insight on is that you were Denver's top guitarist at one point.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, wow. Good memory, man. I forgot about that. I wasn't top one. It was the Westword, not Westworld. Westword is a news thing here in Denver that they have, and it was like the top 10 guitarists in Denver type of thing. That they didn't tell me that I was going to be on it, so that was cool to see. Yeah, that was a while ago. So
was that a competition you entered, or is that it was just them just scouting and they seen you play?
Yeah, they just wrote an article. I don't even know who wrote it, but they knew about me. They knew that the bands that I was in, and then mentioned 90% 90s is like, it's not all about being super technical, because my old band was somewhat technical, but it was like it was something like he knows still how to have fun, do fun 90s covers and stuff like that. So it was cool to be a part of that. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. It wasn't a contest or anything, just kind of randomly happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's an awesome way to be that, it's like, wow, I'm appreciated.
Yeah,
and how's Denver as a scene in a whole? Like how is it over there with the music scene? What's really
Denver's
popular?
good, yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, there's a lot of places to play. There's a ton of it. It does seem like there's a lot of cover and tribute stuff going on, but that could also just be because everyone kind of grew, all did like original stuff, and then original music is hard. Like there's like to promote and play shows and bring people out and stuff like that. So there is something there's a lot of musicians who are like they hate covers. They're like, it's just, you're cheating. You're not even writing your own music. It's like, well, I am writing my own music, but it's also fun to play songs that I enjoy playing as well, and that the crowd enjoys. And like I said, I always love playing the right shows for the right crowds and just being entertaining. I'd rather do that than play a show that's not right, but playing music that I like or whatever. I like the vibe of playing with the right people and stuff like that. So it does seem like there's a lot of covers and tribute stuff in Colorado, but there's a lot of them though. So, and people enjoy it, and a lot of those shows people come out to. So there's still a decent original music scene out here too, but seems to be a lot of tribute and cover acts. So musicians will argue about that on Facebook all day in Denver. So
I feel you, because we'll play 5 originals and we'll put in like 1 or 2 covers, just so people know the style that we love and we want to kind of convey in our set. And we get a good reaction, because some people don't, they don't know who we are. So then, they like that kind of music. All right, I see their vibe. I see where they're coming from and what they're going for. So, and the crowd, of course, if you know your crowd, and you'll find your crowd, you'll find the people that resonate with your original music. So, it's kind of like both. Like, you have to find your people,
It's funny because like we had someone say that, when we did a Sleep Token cover, because I had recreated a bunch of Sleep Token songs.
Yeah, we're huge fans.
And then
same here. Yeah, absolutely love them.
Yeah, they're great. We had them on our list of covers to play, and then someone had mentioned to us that, hey, no one's gonna know who they
are.
You can't resonate with people with that.
And I'm like, well, they're gonna know, because I'm gonna play them
And
They're
then
selling out arenas now.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And
I
then
love that.
What song do you cover?
we have
Hypnosis?
Hypnosis, the
Nice. The
Summoning,
Nice.
Atlantic, and
Nice.
Granite. I think those are the 4 I've created.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that we
We're
played
working
live.
on The Offering and maybe Jaws. I think we're gonna throw in
Yeah.
there, so.
Oh, nice. Cool.
But we
Awesome.
get a good reaction.
Yeah,
And some
people love
people
it.
were like screaming, like, what? Like, because you don't see it. And now there's an actual tribute band
Yeah.
called, what are they called?
Sleep Broken.
Sleep Broken.
Sleep Broken. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Oh, have you seen the bluegrass one? The guy
Yeah.
who does all the bluegrass covers.
Yeah, that's actually really cool too.
It surprisingly works really well.
Wow, yeah.
Like really well. Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
did a good
there you
job.
go. You never know who you're going to strike and who you're going to be like, whoa, wow, that's amazing.
We even added Tool and
yeah, we
Typo
do
Negative.
Tool. Yeah, everybody
Oh,
loves
nice.
Typo Negative too, which is a surprise for me because I was like, yeah, let's just see. But we were in like the crowd. I was like, this crowd is gonna appreciate, and everybody loved
Yeah.
it. That was like everyone was coming up to us and talking about the Typo Negative. Oh, I haven't heard anyone cover that in years.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
so
That's awesome.
you just gotta put out what you feel and then see who resonates with it, right? So
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
What's your favorite cover to play?
Let's Go Crazy by Prince.
oh
is
yeah, he
fun.
said
yeah,
that.
okay,
He
yeah.
said that.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
I like that one
like
a
that
lot.
on that one.
Yeah, that one's fun. It's just a cool track. So, yeah.
So when is your next live show that people could catch you?
We got 4th of July is coming up, so there's quite a few gigs like around Colorado. There's a place called Gypsum, Colorado that we're playing on Wednesday or Thursday, and then there's a band that I play with called Corey Brunson Band that we play July 4th in the city of Thornton. It's pretty huge. There's like 50,000-60,000 people who usually show up to this, and we played last. We headlined, so we play right before the fireworks. That show's a lot of fun. There's
That's
like
incredible.
just a sea of people, yeah. So it's pretty fun. And then after that, we're at a place called Scruffy Murphy's in Denver, my 90s band, and we've played there for like well over 10 years. Downtown Denver, which can be interesting at 2 a.m, but we play there from like 9 to 1, and that place is usually almost always a lot of fun. So those are the gigs for this weekend.
Oh wow! So it sounds like this week is gonna be a banger. You're gonna be really busy.
Yep, and then next week there's 5 in a row. So yep, July is when it starts to pick up. So
Wow.
yep.
Oh, I guess the one of the questions I had is how do you go about like working with like tech companies or like to get sponsorships or
yeah.
getting to do their reviews and whatnot?
Some of them will reach out to me, and some of them I'll reach out to them. So it just depends. Like, if NAMM is really helpful to like meet them in person, and then I can say, hey, I have a YouTube channel with X amount of subscribers. I'd love to work with you, and you can usually tell right there as soon as you say it if they're like, oh, cool, like that would be great, or oh, another guy promoting his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So you can usually tell there. But I'm definitely lucky because I get a good amount of offers, and it's nice to be able to choose which ones I want to do and which ones I'm passionate about doing. And the gear that I've worked with over the years, like I work now with some of those companies, and they'll send me their latest product to do a review on. It's like, this is cool, like I've been a fan of your gear for forever. So that's really cool. So yeah, either they reach out or sometimes I'll reach out to them.
I guess now it's a little bit more, a little easier now that you have a good following to have that establishment. But
Yeah.
when you first started, it wasn't always that simple, right? It was like you always had to reach out to get that opportunity.
Oh yeah. No, one of the first one I ever did was by a company called MyVolts. It's a cool way that like powers your gear with USB. And there was like another YouTuber who recommended me. He's like, yeah, you should send one to this guy. And then the company Phoenix Pro was the very first one to ever reach out, and I've done a lot of their gear because they do a really good job with like doing cheap stuff for musicians, and I always try to explain the difference of like, this is why it's cheap, like it absolutely can work, but is it right for you type of thing. And they sent me my very first like in-ear to review on the channel when I had like, I think like 10,000 subscribers or something like that. So it wasn't even like a huge channel, or I think it was even less than like 10,000. So it was really cool of them to reach out. And then just built from there. So
That's incredible. Yeah,
I'm
I mean
definitely blessed.
it's definitely something for me to see and experience because so my teenage son has a YouTube channel and he started when he was very young and it
Nice.
slowly escalated. He's up to 300K on YouTube.
Nice.
And he does
Awesome.
traveling and bike content and just going everywhere around the world right now. But
Good
the
for him.
first 1,000 I remember, and then to 100,000. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know the journey is very, very hard. And before it was like, oh, I want to work with this company. And now, after you get your plaque, isn't it crazy how everyone wants to work with you? Everyone wants to throw gear at you. Everyone wants you to promote their stuff. But it's the choosing of like being honest. And that's something that you are. When you give your reviews, I've noticed that you are very honest and you're like, here's the pros and the cons, and this is affordable. Now, if you want to go for something a little bit more, but you do it in such a way that it's the honest way of saying, okay, like this is the best, this is kind of in the middle, right? Affordable, but you never say it in any kind of way where,
Yeah, there's no discrediting.
right. And there's
Yeah.
a price for everyone, a price point. And
Awesome.
and that's that. I love seeing that because I've always said to him, I'm like, if you're gonna promote something, if you're gonna be on a brand, you have to believe in it and just be honest at the end of the day, because that's really what your fans are gonna. I mean, we've bought stuff because you've reviewed it, and so we really take your credibility and your opinion really like seriously. And
Awesome. Thank you.
it's your crowd. They're gonna believe in what you believe in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely important because I definitely don't want to lead people down the wrong path or anything like that. So I appreciate that. Yeah, because I really try to show the pros and cons, who this is for, and stuff like that. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I feel that.
Thank you.
I feel you're very honest with your reviews, and who you choose to work with is so important.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I appreciate that because that's definitely one of the things I try to do. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for giving us that chance too to have you on the show, because I mean we're very small in the big scale of life and YouTube and creating, but it also shows that you've seen also the other previous podcasts we've had and the people we've had, and I'm always grateful to have really talented, knowledgeable artists like yourself. So I'm very grateful that you gave us this time and space.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So the last question, we did give you a little heads up, which is the 12 songs to the soundtrack of your life. I feel like there's going to be a lot of interesting artists on that list. And also, with your 90s band and your original music and being a Tool fan. And I'm very excited to hear the 12 songs of the soundtrack of your life, Scott Ewell.
Yeah. Yep, I wrote them down so that I wouldn't forget them.
You're prepared.
Yep, I got them. So none of them are really in any particular order. So Lateralis was a big one for Tool. So that was just a huge one. It's still one of my favorite songs of all time. It's just so well written. And that song really helped me just I love time signatures. That song changes time signatures a bunch, like just the kind of nerdy part about that, but also just the structure of it and just how it's like a 9-minute song, but I never lose interest in it. It's just so well written. And I love the dynamics. It was just big for me to learn how to do dynamics and time signatures. It was just something that was huge for me when I was in high school and learning it. So
that's one of my favorites too.
What? Oh yeah, it's still my favorite. One of my favorite
Yeah.
albums of all time too. The entire album is awesome. And I think I learned every riff on that. On that
Wow.
album at some point, because when I loved that album when it came out for sure. What else do I have? So there's a Green Day song called Pop Rocks and Coke. They only released it on their international super hits album that they had 2 extra songs, and the rest of them were just like their singles. But my first band in high school, that was like the first cover that we learned, and how much we all liked that song. And it was such a random, obscure song, but that was the one that we wanted to do. So just being young and wanting to learn music, that was, starting your journey, that was just one that I always remember. So that song always has a special place to me. We played it live for our drummer, our singer was in the ROTC, like for the school type of thing, and they hired us to play that. And we were not a good fit for that at all. We were writing like weird, songs and like 8-minute, things that went all over the place because I was like a fan of like progressive music and stuff like that. And they eventually just like kicked us off stage and let the DJ play. But
What?
yeah, I mean, we were terrible. We really were a bad fit for that event.
I'm glad that didn't affect you to the point of being traumatized.
Oh yeah. No, you gotta go through some shit for sure when you're performing. So especially you gotta find out when you're the right band in the right situation.
Yeah, so
Pop
true.
Rocks and Coke was one of the things that we played for that one. So that was a big one for me. The song "Double Rainbow" by Katy Perry. I'm actually a huge Katy Perry fan. I love Katy Perry. I got a spot for pop music for sure. I know a lot of like rock and metal heads are like, this is the worst shit ever. But it's like, man, sometimes I just like a good catchy pop song. So
I
Katy
mean, I
Perry's
love
one.
"Toxic" by Britney Spears.
Yep. It's because we do that in 90% 90s, and I always say like this is the greatest pop song ever written.
Yes,
and
that's one of my favorites too.
It's so well put together. Yeah, I love that song. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah. Good music is good music. It doesn't matter what genre.
Exactly. But yeah, big Katy Perry fan, and she has a track called "Double Rainbow," which is no one knows this song. It's off of Prism, but that was the song that my wife and I danced to at our wedding. So
so that one's very special.
Yeah, and something about the lyrics, like some of it's cheesy, but it was. I told her like one time, I was like, these lyrics just connect. I don't know, like as we were falling in love, and I told her about it, and she cried, and like we had like a really cool moment just when that song came out. So of course that was our wedding dance song.
I wish I had one of oh, that's amazing. Yeah, because that is a perfect song for the soundtrack of your life, because you danced it at your wedding.
Yep, you'd have to do it. And yeah, she never played it live though, so I was hoping she would, but she didn't play that one.
You guys gotta make it happen.
I know. I don't think she's ever performed it live because she's coming here next week actually in Denver. So, but there's no way she's playing it. It's such an obscure song off of her album. So, what do I have next? "The Raven That Refused to Sing" by Steven Wilson. It's a Porcupine Tree. It's a solo thing. Seeing that song live for the first time, it was just such that's one of I think his best songs that he ever wrote. I still remember seeing that live up at this theater in Boulder, Colorado, and just blew me away. Just completely entranced in the show. Just one of those moments that especially as musicians, you sometimes you are focused on, how is he doing this, like for like live shows, but at that song I was just entranced in the show. Just absolutely loved it. So that one was one that'll always stick with me for sure.
It's a great one.
So next one I put 3 different songs. So by Nightwish, there's 3 different songs: "Meadows of Heaven," "Ghost Love Score," and "Poet and the Pendulum." Nightwish was really big for getting me into like not so much like music scores, but also at the same time like scores, like symphonies and orchestra and stuff like that. Yeah, so like they obviously combine like orchestra and like metal stuff like that, but that really gave me the desire to be more theatrical and orchestral and stuff
Luna
like that.
So wait, no story time?
Story time's great. Yeah, I love story time too. Yeah, but it was Meadows of Heaven. Ghost Love Score was, I think, probably like if I had to choose one, that was the one. I love that song.
Yeah, I think that was the first one I got introduced to with Tarja on that one.
Yep, yeah, because I think the first album I got by them was a Wishmaster, which was really good. But something about when Ghost Love Score came out, I was like, this song is a masterpiece. And they on the last tour that they came with, why am I blanking on the name? What's the name of the new singer? Floor. Yeah, yep. And she sang that one, and it was like, oh my god, I finally got to hear this live. Well, I actually saw them with Tarja. I saw them with all 3 singers actually. So I've gotten to see them.
Which one's your favorite?
I love all of them. Man, all of them are so good. What was the girl in the middle? I can't remember her name because she was only on that.
I think it's
Thank you. Yeah, she did Meadows of Heaven, and that song is just a masterpiece. I love that song. I don't even know if that's her doing all those vocal runs at the very end, but that is just such a powerful song. I absolutely love that track.
All 3 of them has a different approach to the music. Tarja's very operatic. and then Annette was very it
Annette,
has a bit of a poppiness to it.
Yep.
And then Flora has a balance between the two, but she has a more robust type of voice.
Yeah, I probably like Flora the best if I had to choose one, but man, I love all of them. So they were a huge part of me growing up for sure. So
I can see it in your music too. I can
yeah,
hear it.
And that was like adding like strings and stuff like that. If I didn't get into Nightwish, I don't think any of that would have been
I
a
love
part of
it.
it.
I
So
love it.
yeah, so that was huge. So this one's kind of an obscure one, but it's called "Bring Me the Head of Andy Warhol" by the band Polka Dot Cadaver. If you guys might have heard of Dog Fashion Disco, possibly, but yeah, that they broke up and then became like Polka Dot Cadaver, but just this weird band that just mashes up all sorts of styles in just such a cool way. And I still remember just I listened to the shit out of this album, and there's so many like layers to it. And this song in particular, I just made a point to learn all the words to it. I listened to it constantly. It goes all over the place, like with this pop to this weird metal to like this Danny Elfman type breakdown to, I don't know. It was something that
I gotta listen to more of that then.
Yeah. Polka Dot Cadaver. I love Polka Dot Cadaver. So very, very, very odd lyrics, and but I love them. So that's another big one for me. Oh Lord by the band Foxy Shazam. Do you guys know Foxy Shazam? One of the best live bands of all time. And I say this all the time because like I do a lot of stuff on backing tracks. And some people get upset and they're like, oh, it's ruining live music. It's like, no, it's not. It's like, do what works best for the band. Sleep Token and Nightwish need tracks. Foxy Shazam doesn't, because they have this wild, interesting show that's just this beautiful chaos and one of the best lead singers of all time. Their track "Oh Lord" in particular was always one of my favorites, but I saw them the last two times that they came through. I got to watch their show like up on the side of the stage because someone I know was working there, and she let me watch like from the side of the stage. And the singer like looked directly at me as he was singing like the breakdown chorus, and he was like smiling at me that's the first time I was ever like starstruck in my life. And it's like, not Foxy Shazam isn't that huge of a band, but dude just like I was just like mouthing along to the words and just like froze because I was like, I love this dude, like he's such a good singer. And he kind of like just sang along, and he kind of like smiled, and like because he could tell like I think he could tell I was starstruck, or I don't know. And then he kind of like winked and like just moved on to like he
bestowed some magic to you.
Yeah, he did. So that was a really cool moment. So
that was a moment. You describing it, I already see it in my head. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
I would love to see my face because I was probably just like,
oh,
words because I was.
You do have an expressive face, so he must have known. And then he winked at you.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He knew he got me, so yeah, it was cool.
I love it.
I'll always remember that moment. Take Me Back to Eden from Sleep Token.
That
song's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. That ending gives me chills every time when he screams "Take me back to Eden." And getting to see it at Red Rocks, because they came to Red Rocks was the last time they were here. And it was funny because I was with a friend, and he's like, "What songs do you want to see?" He's like, "I know the set list." I was like, "I don't want to know the set list. Don't tell me." But I was like, I hope they play "Take Me Back to Eden." And of course, that was their last. Well, they did "Take Me Back to Eden" and then Euclid to close out the show.
Yeah.
But finally getting to see it live was pretty amazing. Although The Offering is also another one because of before Sleep Token blew up. My wife got us tickets to go to San Diego, which is one of our favorite cities to visit. They were touring with In This Moment, and
that's when we saw them. Yeah,
Nice.
That's when we first saw them, and I said, "Babe, this band is gonna fucking blow up." This singer,
she heard them on Spotify because she was looking at the list of the people that are playing. Because we went to go see Nothing More and
I love Nothing More too.
And
yeah.
In This Moment,
yeah. And then she went to look up Sleep Token, and then she was like, "Oh my god, like this is different." And you said you had gotten reclamped on one of them.
I got like teary eyed. I'm like, this guy is like full of emotions, and being a singer, I can feel like the pain in his voice, and I haven't felt like that since. I mean, Jeff Buckley is one singer that like just his lyrics and the way he sings, and I'm like, he has to be a Jeff Buckley fan or something like. And then I know he's a Tool fan, obviously, but there's like the way he just sings and his lyrics and everything, I haven't resonated with a singer in years like the way I resonate with Vessel. And he's made me sob, like cry.
100%.
And as soon as they ended, I was like, we're going to get merch. And then I was like, we went to get merch. And then there was a line behind us and everyone was saying the same thing. They're going to fucking blow up. And they did.
Yeah.
Nice.
In a span of a year, then they got their own headlining tour. And then we got to see them again.
At Webster Hall.
And
sold out.
We were in the middle of the pit.
Right in the front, in the middle.
Nice.
That was fun. And I was hoping they played Take Me Back to Eden then, but they didn't at that time.
Yep. The first time that I saw it, so we went out to San Diego, and that was the one show that they canceled of the whole tour. So we didn't get to see them before they blew up. So I remember because we went to play in like Dominican, and we had to like wait for like our other band members to show up, and I watched like the live, like their 30-minute set, because they only had like a 30-minute set. And I still remember watching it and watching the Offering. I was just like enthralled with it, like, 'cause it's just like, it's so good. And then when they came through the next time and they closed with the Offering, they didn't play Take Me Back to Eden yet, but I just remember just in that moment when they got to the Take a Bite, you know, that big ending. I got so many goosebumps because I was like, I've been waiting for the Take a Bite part. Like, it's just such a,
it's a wall of sound.
Yeah.
You know, like when they break down into that section, it's just like blaring at you. You're like, holy hell.
Yep.
And as a drummer, he's a huge Two fan, you know?
Man,
so
one of the best drummers of all time.
Yeah, figuring out his parts is no joke, but it's fun to play.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you have the hardest one. Yeah, well, vocals and drums. You got some hard parts to learn for that. Yeah. So those are big. And all of these are like, I feel like all of these are like live experiences, like, you know, because I'll always remember seeing Take Me Back to Eden for the first time at Red Rocks, and seeing the Offering for the first time after missing them, you know, for that first time. So yeah, those are big ones. I think I have 4 more. I've said it before, the whole album, The Wall is just really big. I remember because I used to play that just on repeat. Back in the MySpace days, I would use Friend Blast to try. Yep, I would try to get friends and stuff like that, and I would just sit by my computer for hours trying to up my band's like friend count, and I'd listen to The Wall.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, which you shouldn't do because then you have like no streams but a bunch of friends, and yeah, it never worked out. But I listened to the hell out of that album, and then got to see it live when Roger Waters did it, and that was just
oh my god! Me and my dad went, and my son.
I went with my dad too. Yeah.
Oh my god! Right? Yep. Like that was one of the moments that when I die, I'm gonna remember. Like those are gonna be the flashes of my. You know what I mean? And because I grew up, he fed me all the best metal and rock music, and he used to always like play that, and my little brother would freak out because, you know, there's weird puppets and things like that, and cartoons. And then I got older and I started realizing, man, this is genius. Like The Wall is my dad, thank you. And then when we went to see him, it was just like an experience where I just, that was one of my top favorite concerts of all time, because experiencing it with your dad too, that must have been amazing.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's totally what it was. So that was a part of it. And that's funny because my next song is Layla by Eric Clapton, because that's one that my dad showed me at a very young age. That was a big one. So specifically from my dad. Yeah, so it was like The
same.
Wall. Going to see that with my dad, and then Layla by Eric Clapton was a big one that he showed me at a young age. So I try to cover that whenever he shows up at like a gig, because that's one of the few that I sing. So like when I do like the Yule Duo, so I always try to do that one when he shows up. So
for you, Dad.
But we were painting my dad's living room when we went over, and we had the radio on, and then that song came out. I'm like, this song would probably be on my 12, because I was like, this is the best fucking Eric, and it reminds me of my dad. And look, here we are helping, because, you know, he's getting older, so I'm like helping him paint. We're so alike. All of us have kind of similar taste in music.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool. And is that 12? We're last one, right?
I think I had like 2 left. Yeah,
two left.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'll go through them fast.
No, make it count. I like the stories behind all of it.
So that was with my dad. With my mom, it's All Fired Up by Pat Benatar, because she was a huge Pat Benatar fan.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that was, where you danced with your mom at a wedding. That was the one that we danced to. My mom air guitared for the wedding and stuff like that. And I still remember that's a really well written song. So that's a huge one. And I know that was something that my mom listened to when I was young. Was a lot of Pat Benatar. So have to include that one.
It's a great one.
Yeah, it's a great song. It still holds up. Like, I've covered "Hit Me With Your Best Shot" more times than, that's another "Don't Stop Believing" where I've played it so many times now. But "All Fired Up" still holds up. Like, we haven't covered that one. So, and then the last one's probably my favorite experience just from a live show, and it was at Red Rocks. It's "Sex Tape" by the Deftones.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of the Deftones, but I never listen to them like I did Tool or System of a Down or anything like that. But I've been a fan of them. But I got tickets to see them at Red Rocks. It was Deftones and Alice in Chains, and they played Sex Tape, and I wasn't aware of the song. But at Red Rocks, they brought down like a disco ball type of thing, and they shot a light up at it that just shot lights all over Red Rocks. If you've never been to Red Rocks, they have it's just a beautiful venue with these giant red rocks, all over, and it's a amphitheater that kind of goes back like this. And I was just, and the mood of that song was perfect for that Red Rocks with the lights. And it was, it wasn't like a super flashy light show. That song's not super heavy by any means. It's more of their ambient, Deftones type thing. And I was like, oh my God, I had no idea what that song was. And I was just completely enthralled with it. It's probably one of my favorite live show experiences ever, because I didn't know the song, and I was just completely enthralled in that song. I was like, I got to find out what that song was when it was over. So
it's so cool. I'm a big Deftones fan. We cover Knife Party.
Yeah.
And we cover some, yeah. So, and I know what you mean. They just know how to make the mood right.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yep, I've seen Deftones twice, yeah. So, and yeah, they do a great job every time. So, my singer in 90% 90s, he does a Deftones tribute as well. So he's a big Deftones fan. So we do My Own Summer in the 90s band. So, not everyone knows that, especially if we're covering Toxic and Blink 182 and the boy band stuff. Everyone knows My Own Summer, but we play that when we get a chance to, for sure, because that's a cool track.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah.
All right. That's all. 12?
Yeah.
Such a solid list. I was excited, and I knew I would be. There's a few that I would put on my 12 songs.
Nice.
So, I mean, wow, amazing. Scott, oh my God, it's been such a pleasure to get to know you more, and just everything from the journey, the tech stuff, how you became the amazing person that you are, and YouTube. I mean, everything is just, I'm so honored that you gave us this time and space. And I mean, if you ever come to New York City, you already know you got 2 friends here, and I would love to see you in any of your projects. I mean, especially Spiral Cell. That one really hits me, and I think you're super talented, super awesome. And I just hope that you continue to do everything that you love, and we're going to see your journey and continue doing all the awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. Everyone that's viewing right now, make sure you're following Scott Yule on YouTube, all socials. Check out all his work with his projects. Check out his website where he has all the information that you need to find everything about him. And hope to see you guys next week on our next show with Voxel Drums. It's going to be awesome to hear about their 3D printing design of their drum sets and their snare drums. It's going to be...
That's going to be awesome.
Very interesting. So tune in then. Hit that like button. Share this out. Share out all the fun videos you found. And
don't forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote. Sky Museum. Next top
Global
hitmaker.
Citizens. Yes.
See you next time, everyone. Much love.
Much love.
Bye.
Bye.